Well, hello there. This is Nicola Liberty with Cowgirls and Spurs, and it is after the Craftathon. This is not after the final rose, but it is after the Craftathon. Come on in and join me. We are going to go over some more details about my project today on the Craftathon. I'm going to go more in depth on how I made Mr. Jack's hat. So this is our project today that we made on the Craftathon for the 2021 Fall Craftathon with Southern Crush at Home and Melanie Ferguson. We have a 20-minute slot in order to create a fun project. And this was my project. But I didn't cover how I made this cute little hat for Jack. So we're going to go over this video. Hi Linda, how are you? And we're going to go over how I made this little hat. Let me show you in detail. It's super cute. You're not going to be surprised if you know me how I came up with this. But let's come up with it because we're going to be working with Jack's friend, Minnie P, aka like Minnie Pearl. So we're going to make his friend. All right, so I've already done all the prep work on Lola. Lola's pretty much done, but she needs her little hat. So we're going to make her hat. So I know that you guys know I upcycle a lot of stuff. I like to recycle. I don't know why. I think it's my grandma. My grandma used to save everything, recycle everything. She didn't craft with it, but she probably should have, and then we wouldn't have had so much to clean up, right? So now I'm trying to use what I have. My kids love Pringles. You know, they're great in a pinch. I love them too. What can I say? I'm going to be real. I like my Pringles. Pringles come in handy when you're doing so many projects. And this is how I came up with the hat. So we have all these empty tubes from my kids' lunches and just snacking all the time. And so we're going to repurpose this. And then I also have, I don't know why I put them on the floor, but oftentimes I just, go willy-nilly throwing stuff all over the place when I'm crafting to get it out of my way, to keep it organized. I've got some old plates. They're not old. I just have a ton of plates from doing crafts. I always have paper plates around. And this one, oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm wearing the goat, you guys. You missed the goat on the Craftathon because I was rocking my Jessica McClintock overalls, and yeah, so the goats are back. So please share the goats, guys. Spread the goats along. Okay, so because, a lot of people use chalk paints. I love chalk paints. A lot of people use milk paints, or they use their acrylics or craft paints. I'm a spray can painting queen. I love my spray cans. I come up with so many different variations, but the bottom line is it's super fast. You can go outside and go zip, zip, zip. You are done painting, and then you can embellish it. So basically what I did is I took 2 plates. I'm going to put that one on the ground because I'm not going to be doing any painting. I'm going to tell you how I did it, and then you got to go back and watch some of my videos when I show you painting techniques. It's super simple, and tonight I will explain it. I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to be breathing. I have Nubians. Yay to the Nubians! I don't want to be breathing the aerosol spray paint. So let me show you what I did. I took 2 plates. These are little salad cake plates. I applied a bunch of glue and I doubled them up. Okay, I just put them right on top of each other naturally how they would stack with hot glue. So that's the first step. And then I took my can and I took my lid off. Now this one still has chips in it, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But I used the open end and I just cut it for the length that I wanted to use based on my pumpkin stem. And what I use for pumpkin stems are just sticks I find on my property. I have 5 acres, I feed my horses, and every day I'm down there feeding my horses and my goats. I'm throwing sticks, feathers, and everything in my bucket to bring home so that I can bring them to you. So I want to say on this one, I cut maybe, I want to say 6 inches. And I took it outside to bring them over. They're still a little tacky. And I used my Rust-Oleum orange paint. This one happens to be in a high gloss. It doesn't matter if it's flat, satin. It doesn't matter. Just grab the color you like. Don't be deterred by the finish, because there's oftentimes you go to your hardware store and they don't have the finish you want and you think, hey, I can't do it. Let's see. I love it. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. I hope you caught the Craftathon. If not, you can see it on my feed on Facebook, or you can go to my Cowgirls and Spurs video gallery. I believe it's actually in the Craftathon page because it's my 7th Craftathon. If you didn't know that, it is my 7th Craftathon. So you can see I didn't really cover up the tags. I didn't go crazy. I just put a coat on it. And while it was tacky, I took my cinnamon and I sprinkled it all over it as it was tacky. And I just took a flat brush and kind of dusted it. And it gave it this little rusty patina. Now, the only reason why I'm not concerned about it having a full finish on it is because we're going to cover it with ribbons and embellish it, and you won't be able to tell. It won't be showing through. You just want the pops of color. I did the same thing to the plate. So you can see, once it was glued, I just sprayed it orange, and while it was tacky, I went over the top with the cinnamon, brushed it on both sides. Now, we're going to slide this over the top of our stick. So we have to kind of gauge where we want to put the tube, which is going to be the part of the top hat. So I'll just take a pen, if it'll write on this, just to kind of gauge where I want to cut. My paint's still a little tacky, and so it's just going to give me a little outline. Let me show you. It didn't even put any ink down, but it did make grooves in the paint. You can kind of look at, you can kind of see one right there. It just made little grooves in the paint. All that's going to do is provide me with a general idea of where I'm going to cut. And so I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, and very carefully I'm just going to kind of go through, watch your fingers, keep your fingers out of the way, and just kind of cut through your double paper. I don't know why I drew a blank there. I totally went in my head. I'm so tired, you guys. I am so tired. Yesterday was my husband's 60th birthday. We couldn't celebrate a whole lot. We had some friends over for dinner, which was really nice. We barbecued ribs. Well, I say we. He did all the work barbecuing the ribs. For those of you who don't know, I'm married to a chef, and he likes to show off his skills every so often. And barbecuing is one of his favorite things to do. Okay. So, you know, I want to show you one of the things I did because, you know, I kind of started going outside the box a little bit, and I got this little flappy. Don't worry about it. We're going to cover it up. I sound like an Italian, huh? Don't worry about it. But seriously, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Let me put my razor away. I'm telling you, this is so easy. And I love that you guys have been telling me you're going to do this with your grandkids and your nieces or nephews and your kids. You guys, this is so much fun to do with them. And each person can come up with a whole personality. And you create a whole family of these guys and decorate the house. So I'm just going to take, this is the cut edge. So it's a little bit more uneven. I'm just going to go ahead and work that cut edge by kind of twisting, making sure all my corners are kind of saturated. You can see the bottom, it's not perfect, but the top ends up being just a little wonky. I love that word. I saw a couple people were using it today, and I was like, go girl, it is wonky, I love it. So see, it kind of leans a little bit. That to me just adds a little bit more character. I love it. If you're a perfectionist, take your time, get your lines straight. You gotta craft the way you craft. Just do you, because the thing is that we're doing this for joy. We're doing this to honor. We're doing this to keep ourselves in a positive posture. We are here to support each other and give each other ideas and inspire each other. And just, you know what? Crafting loves company. Creatives love company. So I'm gonna get all my little protective mats out of the way, and we're just gonna move right to my table. So that's what we have so far. Now this is kind of where the fun comes in. I have my little tray here, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I use to create this hat. And in my video tutorial for the Craftathon, I shared with you that I have subscription boxes, and I make my own vintage and grungy. My overalls and my apron are contradicting each other. I make vintage ribbons. I make grungy ribbons. I have a ribbon subscription box where every month I come up with these wonderful themes for the month for you guys to craft with. You get 12 to 15 yards of ribbon. If you order the deluxe box, you get antique flowers that match the ribbons. You get elements of bling, whether it be from some of my affiliates or it's for vintage stuff that I've collected, gems, or I have you create your own. I try to keep it different and alive and kind of fun every month. These are some of the ribbons that I showed you on the live video. I didn't use all these because I already had the hat pre-made, but now I want to come in and incorporate some of these ribbons. And so I'm using a grungy overall ribbon some of my farmhouse collection, some muslin that has just been all antiqued. This is my bandana collection. And then I have just some corduroys and some wire burlap. And so I like to have more than enough instead of not enough. And so I oftentimes will just inundate you with more supplies than you need, because I want you to be able to see how you can be creative. Pick and choose. You don't have to stick to a theme. I mean, not a theme really, but just like a regimen. You want to just kind of open up the box and let your creativity flow. And then this is also one of my grungy ribbed ribbons that I just tied in a simple bow. Okay, and then these are kind of some of the things that I showed you on the video, but that I am going to incorporate in her hat. These two-tone flowers, I've antiqued these, and they incorporate a little bit of yellow, a little bit of gold, and a little bit of red. So I will be using those today. And then I loved all the variety that everyone was showing of ways to make those curly cues with wire. This one is what I have left of a jute roll. It's kind of got some raffia around it. I don't even think it's jute necessarily. It's more of a raffia. It's a, what am I going to say? A flowers. It's for making flowers. I don't know. I'm tired, you guys. You're going to have to bear with me if I can't come up with the words. And then this one is wire also. And this one has all these cute little berries on it. We're going to be using that today too, because I really want to make her above and beyond. Now, how do I get some of my ribbons? Well, I surplus fabrics, curtains, other fabrics that had ribbons and details on them. This is one that we're going to use, and I have not antiqued this yet, and I'm going to show you how I'll antique it. It's really simple. It's the same technique we used for the hat, but we're going to transfer it over to fabric. Let me see how you guys are doing. Hello, everybody. Hi, Diane. Pam's here from Texas. I love it. Raul is here. You guys, I saw all your comments. I loved them. Took me, I think it was 3 hours. I kept having to step away because I was getting such a headache. But I was in front of the computer glued to the comments, and I personally responded to everyone that I had on that feed at that time, and I think it was, I don't know, a couple hundred. So hopefully I responded to you. If I didn't, I will. So now there's a couple feathers that I find around my property, and I'm only going to put one in her box unless I have a couple handy, because I used them all for Jack. Actually, I have one more here. This one's kind of cute. This is from my chicken Lucky. She's super cute. And then I have two doves that call our place home, and they leave me flowers every so often. And so we're going to use those for her today. And then I have a pine sprig just to add a pop of green. I have oranges that I dried last year that are just really rustic and primitive. I might use those. And then I have a bright green button because I want to draw some more of the green in. So I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to put my tray aside. And then in order to make her a mini P, she needs tags on her hat. And so I have these cute little laundering tags. Normally Minnie Pearl had a price tag on her hat. We're going to simulate that price tag by using these cute little Tim Hertz laundry tags. Okay? So let's just get busy. And I'm just going to kind of start doing my thing on her and just kind of explaining as I go where my thought process is, and then you guys take it and run. Saddle up and right on into the sunset with your creativity, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of gauge what ribbons I want to use for her. So the first thing is, I don't like all this glue splotchy here. So I'm going to change the glue splotchy a little bit by bringing in some boldness. Now, the first ribbon I'm going to use is my bandana. And I'm going to flat wrap her. And then, let me turn it around so you can see. I'm just going to do a loose knot around her neck, the base of her hat. I keep saying her neck. It's not her hat. Her neck, it's her hat. And I'm going to kind of scrunch it down a little bit so that it gathers just a little bit like this. And I'm not going to worry about putting in a knot because you're not going to see it, and I'm going to tack it down with glue. So just take your glue, kind of pull your ribbon out a little bit and put little dollops inside, and then tack it and squish it. Does that make sense? Let me show you another one right here. I'm going to put a little dollop in here. I'm going to press it on my can and then kind of squish it down. Now what that does is it just creates a little bit of attitude, a little bit of puckering. Okay? So that's where I would start my base. And I'm going to go ahead and tack the leggings or the little strands of my knots. Okay? just like that. So those are secured. That's my first layer. Now this girl's got some attitude, and I know she has some attitude. So we're gonna use a little bit of this. And what I wanna do is, we're gonna do this pleat smush technique that I give you when I use my rosettes. So oftentimes when we're making my rosettes, there's a technique I call pleat and smush. And let me show you how you do it. Now it may not be fabulous on this one because I'm still tacky. So all I'm gonna do is create a little bit of a slide here with my glue. You see how much I put on there? And then I'm gonna add my ribbon, smash it, and smush it. Okay, so that it gathers more than this ribbon is already gathering. And I'm gonna flip it over, continue with a little bit more glue, and I'm gonna pull her, and then I'm just gonna kind of smush her like this, okay? So it's creating the smushing is creating more pleating. And I'm just gonna keep going all the way around. Now I did it about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch above my bandana so that you can see my bandana. I did not cover up my bandana. Again, so it's all squishy in there, just kind of grab it and create this pleating. I want you to kind of see that pleating right there. Can you see that? And then I'm gonna finish it until it goes all the way around. I only do maybe 2 inches at a time because it's hot. Don't burn your fingers, just go slow. You can feel it in there. So just start grabbing it and smushing it. Just like that. And you're creating all these beautiful pleats. Okay, I'm gonna keep it and finish it and overlap over the ribbons that I started. You wanna go, oops, you can't see it because the rim. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be all flexible and I'm not. So I overlapped right there. So I'm gonna kind of go over the top, grab it, and push it in until my seam is complete. And then you're gonna wanna trim it. Oops. All right. So just like that. So we're creating a little bit of attitude now because she's a gardener. And she's gonna wanna have her hats on to protect her head. She's got a little attitude. She likes to dress nice but get dirty at the same time. Hi, Vicki, how are you? So yes, we just want to make it, she's a girl. She's a working girl that just likes to be nice and dressed up and all kinds of good stuff. So let's antique her a little bit. Now I showed you, I'm going to grab one of these extra plates that we used. I showed you how to antique on the Craftathon using spray adhesive and applying your cinnamon over the top. This is another way that I like to get my cinnamon in. Just take a little bit of Elmer's glue or your Mod Podge. You don't need a lot. Just pour a little bit on there. Grab one of your sponge brushes. Just any size will do. The smaller ones just have a tendency to be a little bit more easier to maneuver. Take your cinnamon and just pour your cinnamon right into the glue. And I'm thinking 1/2 teaspoon. Cinnamon goes a long way. You don't want to use a lot of it. So we maybe used a tablespoon of glue and we're using about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And what I like to do is just kind of work it into a paste. Now there's 2 things that this will do. One is it will totally antique your ribbon because when the glue dries clear, all you're going to see is the rusting behind. But it's also going to create a stiffening of the ribbon so it won't go anywhere. It waterproofs it a little bit. Now I don't recommend this to be outside, but it definitely is going to be a little bit more durable to last you a couple years if you seal it and create a stiffening in the fabric. Okay, I'm going to pull out the other piece underneath because I want to dry brush this. I don't want to goop on a bunch of my, my cinnamon. And I'm just going to kind of come in here so that you can see it and just create some rusting. Now, I don't know about you. I'm a gardener. I'm a horse girl. I'm a goat girl. I am a ranchery girl. I get dirty. And I'm always wiping my face and putting my hair out of my way and wiping my hands on whatever I can get my hands on. So I'm imagining this girl wears the same hat every single day when she goes out to the garden and it just starts to see its better days. So that's all we want to do is create a little grunge on it. Okay? Now, as much as the grunge you want, just add as much as you want. If you want to go crazy grungy, go crazy grungy. The whole point is to just make it dirty. Just make it dirty. We're getting dirty. Okay? I'm gonna put that aside. See, I made way too much, but we're gonna be using it periodically in this. Okay, there are two ways that you can do this. Most sun hats embellish their hat in the back. Like when I was wearing my hat, you saw turkey feathers coming out of the side. You can do that back here, or you can use this as your front and then leave your back plain. I want my tassels to kind of be hanging off the front and even off to the side, like a little bit of a sass, almost like a Sunday bonnet sun hat. You know, this little girl can only afford one hat, and so she's got to make it work for all of her chores and her Sunday best. So that's kind of what I'm going for, and you can see it's leaning this way, and I already know it has a little character that way, so I'm going to start building it up. Now, be patient because we're going to come back in with our other ribbons, but right now we need to start on the foundation. So the first thing I'm going to do is start building up my flowers. I'm going to put one in here, and I'm going to start popping in all this depth and color. Look at all that, the variation. Doesn't that just fall? It says fall to me, and red's my favorite color. So I always try and do things with red. I'm going to bring in an orange, because my girl likes to grow oranges and make orange juice. And sometimes when she's feeling particularly sassy, she'll whip out a marmalade. That's what she does. Okay, so I've got some orange in there. I'm going to bring in some more flowers. Oops, I need more glue. I've gone through like 5 glue sticks today. That is a good day at crafting when you've gotten through almost a half a dozen craft things, or glue sticks. I don't know why I said craft things. I knew exactly what I was talking about, but my brain went to, where am I going to put the next orange? Okay, you start to see that a little bit as I'm building it up. We're going grungy, we're going primitive, we're going rusty, we're going ranchy. There's going to be no foof in this. I mean, this is foof, but no rhinestones and glitter and all that kind of stuff. She's a working girl on the ranch. I had to clear that one up. Okay, so I want to bring in some of my flowers. Now these feathers, these feathers, I'm going to strategically place them, but I got to kind of do this up, not upside down. So bear with me for just a quick second. You know, when you're building in, I like to get my foundation in and then add little pops here and there. Just kind of start with what you want to have on the base and then texture it out from there. Okay, then I think I might slip in another one once that's stuck, because it's a little tacky and the feathers go in a little bit better. Okay, and while that is drying, I'm going to bring in some of my beadwork here. Now this is obnoxious to work with if you just keep it in the ring. Hey everybody, just grab a bunch that you may not use it all, but just wire cut it off. It'll make your life so much easier than trying to wrestle this whole spool. So my girl here, she's got some crazy town happening, and I want her to have some crazy town happening. So I'm going to start wrapping the top of her hat a little bit to create a little bit of texture. And I'm going to overlap my ribboning, but I want to tuck my end. If you see this, I want to tuck it under so that it feels like it's starting naturally. So I'll lift my ribbon, tuck her in, tuck the little end in there, and then add a dollop of glue and smash my ribbon on the top of it and hold it. You want to hold it for a minute. So when we're training our horses, we call this having a bagel and a smoke. You just gotta wait. You gotta wait for the licking and chewing. You gotta wait for the response. This is where you have some patience, because if you do not adhere your end, you are going to be fighting with it, and it's going to cause frustration, and that is counterproductive to what we're trying to do, right? Okay, so I have a pretty good hold. Now I'm going to bring it down, tacking it as I go. I've done this a couple times, so I kind of know this works. Okay, so all I did was add a little dollop where right here on the end, and then when that one's secured, I'm going to start wrapping. Does that make sense? Okay, let me just kind of show you where we're at. All I'm doing is holding it because I put a little dollop right there. I'm trying to get my ring finger to move in a way that it doesn't normally move. And then I'm just going to kind of wrap. Cross over her a little bit. Wrap it down here. And then I'm going to attach it again. And just tack it down. Try and tack it down in areas where you think it's going to really stick. And I'll grab whatever I have on hand to tack it so I don't have to touch it because I've already burnt my hands. And you need to save your fingers. So I've told everyone in my videos before, I prefer a dual temperature glue gun. But I am trying this cordless one. It's a cordless one. Look at I'm trying to keep it from falling. It's fallen. And it only has high temp, so I burn myself a lot. One of the reasons why I like the dual temp is because sometimes you don't need high heat. You just don't. And so it gets the ability to be able to switch gears, and I don't burn myself quite as often. With this one, you guys, I'm burning myself constantly. Now I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to wrap it, and then pull it off my finger. You can use a permanent marker. See, it came undone a little bit. Let me tack it back in. You can use a permanent marker, you can use a pen, you can use just about anything that you want to use in order to get it to be secured. See what I mean by waiting? You gotta wait. You gotta be patient. It's one thing I'm not. Patient. Really not. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Did you guys watch the entire Craftathon? Did you see everyone? Those were amazing crafters. There were some amazing crafters. I'm really humbled to be a part of this crew. I really am. I just kind of want to show you. She's got a lot going on. She really has a lot going on. All right, I think I'm secure. I might be not secure, so just be patient. It's going to be worth it. Okay, let me just see if I can manipulate this a little bit to stay like that. Stay put, girl. Telling you. All right. All on the road again? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm just going to have to stand here for a second. You're going to just have to watch me stand here and do some, hello, Kathy. You know what I'll do? I'm just going to say hi. Let's do this. Hello, if you're new to following me, welcome. We had a great time on the Craftathon. That was a lot of fun. I had to switch it to Sunday because my husband's birthday was yesterday, and I was scheduled on my presentation yesterday, and I didn't know what I was going to do and how I was going to host a birthday party and also do my Craftathon. And so Melanie, sweet girl, she's like, oh no, I have an opening. And I thought, oh, this is wonderful. He'll be so excited. Okay, so this is Lola. Lola's a free spirit. She beats to her own drum. She's got some attitude, and she is all girl and all rugged. Look at her. Isn't she cute? Okay. I'm just going to test it out and see how she kind of fits. I love her already, and we're not even done. Oh my gosh, she's got so much attitude. Okay, let's get her little stick here going a little bit. Okay, so I want to be able to see some pizzazz. And so up here, I'm going to take some of my ribbons, and I'm just going to loosely wrap it around the top. And I did the same around the bottom, creating a little bit of rag hair, so my ribbon hair. And then I'm going to come back up here and tie it in a knot. Upside down and backwards. Let's see how well I do. I almost wanted to call her Lola, but I'm sorry, I did call her Lola. You know why? Because I have Lola in my head. She was Lola. La 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 la. But instead, it's Minnie P because of her tags. Okay. So just trim that a little bit. Where'd my scissors go? Oh, I put them in the wrong container. Okay. So I'm going to tack her with a little bit of glue. Just like this to create some more texture up here. And you can see how I wrap the ribbons around her base. So she's got long hair. Just kidding. Okay, so she's got a little bit of long hair. Okay, so I just want to have a little bit popping out the top of her so that when I come in here and bring her little hat, she's got a little attitude coming out the top. Like she's got a big ponytail coming out the top. Okay? And then as soon as I position her the way I want her, oh yeah, I'm going to glue the inside of my hat to my stick by just kind of getting some glue in there and then quickly tacking it to my stick. Okay? See how she's kind of leaning? Let's get her hair moved off to the side. This is what I'm talking about. How fun would a kid making this be so excited about this little girl coming to life? Okay? She's got feathers in her hair. She's got flowers. She's got all kinds of stuff. We need to get these cute little tags in here. Let's antique them first. So I'm going to come in with my glue that we just did, and I'm going to kind of antique the edges a little bit. I think it dried on me. What in the world is it doing? It dried on me. All right, let's go to backup plan. Brown paint. And then mix it in the same tray. Whoop! Does your paint glob up like that where it looks like just a little sludge coming out of your paint? Mine does, and it drives me crazy sometimes. And especially when it comes out in a video and you're like, ooh, what in the world is that? Let me pull it off. Kind of gross. All right, just going to come around the edges and create some darkness. And I'm sloppy when I do this because if something's laying out in the weather, it is most definitely not going to have perfect edges. So I like to smudge with my fingers a little bit, kind of come around and just create a little bit more antiquing. And I know this one's going to be on the bottom, so I'm okay with it being a little messy. There you are. This one I think I'm going to take a little bit more time to go around the edges so that it's not super smeared, so you can kind of see the writing a little bit and have it be a little bit cleaner. So see the, let me put this down. See the difference? I know you guys know how to antique, but I just want to kind of show you the difference. And then what I'm going to do is glue them ahead of time. And I want them offset a little bit like that. Okay? So let's bring her in here. I'm going to flatten her a little bit, and I'm going to come underneath one of my little berry twines, and I'm going underneath the orange. Okay, so let me show you before I tack it. Just like that. So I'm going to hold it in place. I just like to get in there. I don't want to move anything around, so I kind of just get in there and drip it down. It's so hot. It's like molten lava, and it just kind of gets in there and secures it. She's coming together. She's got an antiquing on her. I'll show you up real close. Super cute. Pringles can, you guys, out of a Pringles can. All right, and then I wanted to bring in a little pop of that green. So I'm going to add a little bit of a green button to the center, right where I put my tag. And there she is. And we made her little hat. Her little hair out of ribbons, a Pringles can, and a couple of cake plates. Her hair's in her face. I've never experienced that. Now let me show you Jack, because I know you guys saw Jack. But when I put these guys together, they just become the cutest little personalities. How fun is that? I love it. So I encourage you, you can make a top hat as big as you want. You can go way up off of there and make them really, really have some attitude. Just play around with it. Have a good time. Get your crafting on, all right? So, check my schedule. I posted everything. I've been so busy today. Our new arrivals are in, Cowgirls and Spurs. Our September boxes just went out, and Halloween's right around the corner. I encourage you to become a subscriber for my ribbon boxes, because I'm getting funky over the next month and two. So I can't wait to see you guys. Everything's at cowgirlsandspurs.com. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.